right, let's get to the major one. Let's get to escaping the 411. This is a project. Don't rush this. You're going to have to unwind a lot of control. But if you keep your cool, it's definitely possible to escape this position, especially if you're 100% dedicated to defense. So let's just start to go through our checklist of controls, or if you can put me in the 411, and what we need to unwind. All right. The first thing we're going to need to address is the fact that there's a frame in between us. As long as this is here, I can't meaningfully reach my opponent to unwind any of the leg control. Right? Unless you're super flexible, reaching down and grabbing this foot and pulling it through here is not an option. So let's just disregard that for now. Although again, if you are extremely flexible, there's we'll talk about it later, not part of our system basically because it relies on a great deal of flexibility, and we want this to be accessible to people of relatively normal range of motion. So again, the main problem here is this, right? When you're describing this frame, it's helpful to gently stroke the thigh a little bit. So what I'm going to do to bypass this frame is I'm going to create this hip rotation to get his knee off the ground. So I'm just twisting my hips. I'm using my partner's body for base. I'm not just keep me pinned here, this. I'm not just flicking my knees. I'm not just rotating my hips. This is a difficult movement to really understand if you don't feel it, because it looks like I'm doing the same thing when I do this and I turn. But I'm not doing the same thing as just rotating my hips. I'm hooking my feet against my partner's back, and I'm creating an external pressure with my ankle or my calf or whatever's touching his ribs that's allowing me to push off of him to generate base, to move, and then I'm going to get myself closer to him, trying to bring my chest underneath of his knee. This allows me to at least bypass his frame. Now I should be able to reach his elbow or reach his wrist, depending on what's accessible to me. Again, the elbow is better, especially if I'm doing a good job of booting. The elbow is better. I'm going to catch the point of the elbow. That's the mechanical end of the lever. And that's going to enable me with both hands to start pulling as I stretch this leg out. This is going to force him to let go, or he's kimuraing himself. If I'm not able to reach the elbow, I would grab the wrist, pull it to me, and try to extract my heel. Once either of these happens, I'm going to temporarily be in an alignment where I'm controlling the lever to his shoulder, preventing him from turning. He's going to want to follow me. I'm going to try to keep him rotated this way for as long as possible. As I swing my leg out, we're going to change angles in a minute. I'm going to swing my leg out, turn my heel and hide it as I go into base with both feet. Like this. I'm going to try to sit up as much as I can, and I'm going to block his shin with this hand. Let's change angles. So once again, he's controlling me. I'm not able to get past this frame, so I push down with my legs, both of them creating base, allowing me to bypass this and get close to him. Now I'm going to reach through here, grab what I can, extract my leg. I start to hide my heel and turn my leg down, starting to access with my hip the end of the lever to his hip, which is his right leg, as I swing out, get into base with both feet. It's important here that my leg not be dangling, because if he keeps turning, he can expose my heel and still heel hook me. So when I turn, I'm keeping this heel as close to him as possible, and I'm putting weight on it if need be. The part of the movement actually dictates that when I'm controlling the shin, that I actually lift my hip up, making this leg as heavy as possible. Right. Once I've created this, I can start to extract. When I feel that I'm heavy enough, feel I'm in good base and I've got a little bit of spring, I'm going to turn hard to my left. I'm going to try to pull my knee through this line. I can, at this point, switch and push on his knee this way to access this lever. Once I've done this, I've extracted myself. Again, I either get to the elbow or I get to the wrist. To do that, I have to create base, bump, bypass the knee, work on this type of control. Lever control to the shoulder, extending my leg as I pull. As soon as I feel this break free, I rotate as hard as I can, blocking this. He's going to want to keep me in the entanglement by reestablishing control of my leg. So if all I do is turn kind of here and sit up, he's just going to bring me right back. And now he's savvy to what I'm doing, which is going to make it a lot harder. So let's assume that I did all that. I turn as far as I can, and I keep that away from him. If I need to frame him out here, I do it. I block here, and I make this leg heavy. Right? I can step on his heel now, push on his knee if I can reach it. Again, this is not a movement that's accessible to everybody, so if you're not able to do that, that's fine. I can build my base a little bit better, step on his shin if I need to, extract myself. That's how you're going to unwind the 411. I know there's a lot going on there, but this is how you're going to be able to do it successfully rather than sitting there and eating a couple of pops and then trying to pull your knee out in a manner that's more high risk. It's multi-stage, but it unwinds every piece of control. It unwinds the lever control. It corrects the lack of base. It gets you past the frame. It gets you into proper alignment when you're trying to extract yourself into good base, into an athletic position. You're not leaving levers out. You're making sure that you can generate movement. And then down the road, when we go to do re-entanglements and counter leg locking sequences, this sequence is going to put you in much better position to counter leg lock because, again, your alignment will be proper and you'll be systematically breaking your opponent's alignment through the escape.